Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all a packet that I filled out and some information that I learned today. It's a 12-step facilitation program. It's like a recovery material program packet, and what I learned is like ways to describe my diagnosis and my severity of substance use, because I did use marijuana at one point, and also identify recently experienced problems that may be related to substance use. If you're not familiar with the 12-step facilitation program, um, I can tell you a little bit about it. It's a program that's called 12-Step Fellowship to help people address the problems they are having with alcohol and other drugs. It also, as research shows, that people who participate in this 12-step facilitation program have a greater chance of becoming sober and staying sober for the long term. And I just want to share a little history about the 12 steps. You may be wondering what 12-step fellowships are and how they got started. In the 1930s, Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob Smith, two men who were alcoholics, started a group called Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. Members of this group tried to help each other become sober and establish a healthy a healthy recovery. In 1939, Bill Wilson put the principles used in this group into a book called the Big Book of AA. This book outlined 12 steps that were found to help people recover from substance use. Today, millions of people use the steps to begin and maintain a healthy recovery. How 12 steps meetings work. There are some meetings. 12-step meetings are free. They are run by members. No one person or group of people is in charge. The meetings are anonymous. Meetings start with a welcome announcement. Then someone might talk about what they learned from one of the 12 steps, and each person has a chance to talk about how they are doing. So right now I'm doing very good. I am in rehab. I am doing a 60-day stay in the inpatient rehab. I did this packet today. It's the 12-step facilitation, and this is an exam. I mean, not an exam, but like an exercise. So the thing was to put a check mark next to each problem below that you are experiencing now and have experienced in the recent past. So the first one is physical consequences, and I put a check mark next to gastrointestinal digestive problems. I used to have like digestive problems, like using a restroom and stuff like that. Sleep problems. I used to have insomnia, unrestful sleep. I didn't want to go to sleep, or I didn't feel sleepy, or I would stay up all night until the morning and still go to work. Auto, home, or job accidents or injuries. I felt like I was being watched or stuff like that, and I had a car accident, and I did a hit and run. Emergency room visits. I would have mental episodes, so I would end up going to the mental hospital and do like 72-hour holds or 24-hour holds. So I would end up going to the emergency room. And those are the only ones that I checked off for that section. The next one is legal consequences. I checked off arrests for disorderly conduct or assault. I did do vandalism a couple of years ago, and I was not in my right state of mind. I did not so long ago use weed when I did that, but I wasn't high that day. I checked off illegal activity for which you were not caught. I used to steal. I would steal even though I didn't even need to steal. I would have money to be able to buy what I wanted, but I would steal. But I knew that I wasn't going to get caught, so I would still do it. The next section is social consequences. I checked off occasional problems such as excessive sick leave, poor declining or uneven performance evaluations, being fired, being forced to undergo assessment and or treatment. I checked that one off because, I wasn't able to perform at work because I was hearing voices. Me using marijuana causes me to have hear voices in my head because I'm diagnosed schizoaffective. I also checked off school problems. when I was using marijuana in school. When I was in high school, I wasn't able to perform well in class. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't want to go to class. I would ditch class and stuff like that, and I eventually ended up ditching school. Next, pre-drinking and pre-using, meaning drinking or using drugs intentionally in advance of a social function. Yes, I did that. I would, drink or smoke weed at a function or before that, and I would think about doing it and I would follow through with doing it. Next, so significant other problems such as chronic conflicts over drinking or using, conflicts over money spent on alcohol or other drugs, conflicts of deceit, unreliability, infidelity, or abuse, breakdown of communication and intimacy. Next, I checked off conflicts with children or relatives over use. Yes, I lost custody over my daughter because I was using marijuana. They said that I was misusing marijuana, so that means that I also wasn't in my right state of mind when I used the marijuana, so they took her out of my custody and placed her into her dad's custody. Problems functioning effectively as a parent. So that also goes follow through with what I just checked off with the conflicts with children or relatives over use. My family didn't like the fact that I was using because of how I would act when I used. Loss of friends as a result of alcohol or other drug use. Yes, I end up not communicating with friends like I would, and I would be so much into using weed, and I just end up doing other things and not communicating with my friends and continuing the friendship that I had. Also, isolating yourself from others. I used to isolate myself when I used because I knew that they didn't like me using.
Jonathan, please report to the front office. Jonathan, please report to the front office. Jonathan, please report
Yes,
to the
that's
front
them
office.
announcing because I'm in a program right now. So hopefully we can get this done. I can get this done before they announce something else. So the next section is sexual consequences. And the only one that I checked off was sexual behavior you would not use to engage in. You would not use, you would not choose to engage in if you were sober, such as prostitution. I did prostitution even when I wasn't sober, but I would do it more when I was using, and I felt like I was in the mood to do it. Even though I didn't like to do it, I would do it for the easy money. For psychological consequences, I checked off all of them, which is irritability of or moodiness, depression, suicidal thoughts, loss of motivation, drive or interest, memory problems, disorderation, impulsivity, aggressiveness, confused thinking, hallucinations. The next section is financial consequences, and what I checked off was mortgage or rent problems, problems making ends meet due to money spent on alcohol and other drugs. And then there's the other consequences that I put that I could put my own self, and I put mental episodes in hospitals and loss of property because I used to throw away a lot of my things, such as clothing, shoes, all types of things. I just would throw it away. And then also it had a way for you to ask a question, and the question that I asked was, do you have to have a sponsor to work the 12 steps of fellowship? And the facilitator of the group said that it is recommended to have a sponsor because you can get farther in the program once you have a sponsor, and they end up teaching you the steps and showing you the way of the 12 steps of fellowship. And then the way you can find a meeting, there's meetings everywhere. There's all types of meetings. There's Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. There's Narcotics Anonymous meetings. There's Heroin Anonymous meetings, cocaine anonymous meetings, and other types of meetings. There are men's groups, women's groups, LGBT groups, groups for people who have mental health concerns, and many other specialized groups. It's normal to try out a few different groups before you find the one that feels like a good fit for you. Many groups are listed in phone directories and also websites. So I really wanted to share this with you all because I felt like this was something great for me to, go over and just look in look at and see on paper, like, these are the things that I went through when I was using, and I need to just remind myself not to use again. And I also, I wrote down, it pinpoints all the bad that has happened out of using substances. And I need to remind myself not to pick up again because it does me no good and I don't need it. I don't need to use to have a good time because I am not like everyone else. Because there are people that can smoke weed and drink alcohol with no problem, and they are able to hold a job and function right and keep friendships and family and, you know, their children in their lives. But me, myself, with my experience in drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana, I lost the custody of my child. I didn't lose my parental rights, but I did lose custody, and she's not in my care, and she's not in my home. I ended up losing, I went to jail. I lost my home. I lost my car. I lost a lot of things in my life, and I'm in a place in my life right now where I'm not too happy because of where I am. But I'm slowly getting there and building my spirit back up and building my, I have great self-esteem, but I'm building my, like, emotional and well-being back up and my self-esteem back up to, you know, advocate for myself and get myself back out there and building a career for myself so I could be very successful. I want to be successful in life. I want to do better. I want to be better, and I want to be happier than what I am, because I'm not too satisfied with life right now. And I am reading. I do read. I read a lot. I'm gonna start reading a lot and start participating in my recovery and taking it more serious now. Um, if you're, you know, having a problem with substance abuse and you feel like you have a problem with substance abuse, just go to a meeting. Meetings are pretty good. They might be boring, you know. I know for myself they might be boring a little bit, but you can meet some really great people there. You can meet some really great people, hear their stories. You don't even have to share if you don't want to share. Just say pass, or, you know, don't raise your hand, and just, you know, just have a great time. Get a sponsor. For me, myself, I don't want a sponsor because I feel like myself, I don't want to go with having to have a sponsor, but I will keep that in mind if I do find myself having a really hard time dealing with not stopping to smoke marijuana or alcohol, because I didn't have a hard time smoking weed, or I didn't have a hard time not using alcohol. I wasn't an alcoholic. I didn't drink a lot. I hardly drank, but I did like to smoke weed, but I wasn't addicted to it. So, but it did cause me to have problems in my life, and it did cause a lot of problems in my life by smoking it. And yeah, that's what I want to share with you all today. Thank you for watching my video. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, press that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.